Please note today's date in your diaries. Yes, because if you are searching for a breakthrough, whether it's in manifestation, law of attraction, personal growth, success, this clip might be the only thing that finally breaks the loop. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but listen carefully. Before this, I actually tried everything. Everything means Think and Grow Rich, Secret, Tony Robbins, seminars. But this thing is the only thing that will actually work. But I actually use this method myself. I manifested going to Dubai, driving my dream car, and the life experiences I had been visualizing. Today, Kevin Trudeau is going to expose something most self-help and success gurus will never tell you: how they keep you consuming more and more information without ever actually breaking the loop. You keep watching another video, another podcast, another technique, and you are still searching. This clip is important because it might make you realize why you have been stuck in that loop and what you actually need to do to break it. So listen carefully, because this may be the last how-to video you need to watch. Let's start.
But they're missing key elements. And the major reason is the books that are written on success. I know most of the authors, as you do probably as well. And I've been on stage with them. I've been in their homes. I've talked to them on the phone. And none of these guys actually ran a business or started an enterprise. They made all their money selling books or audios or seminars on how to make money. That's where they made all their money. There was one guy who tried 3 businesses, went bankrupt 3 times, was living in the basement of his mother-in-law's house, called me up struggling, and he says, I figured out how to get rich. I go, how's that? He goes, I'm going to write a book on how to get rich. I go, but you went bankrupt 3 times. I know, but people will buy a book on how to get rich. While in his basement, he wrote a book on how to get rich, sold it online, and made over $1 million in the next 12 months. I said, but you're really a fraud, aren't you? I was kidding him because we knew each other. And he says, look, clearly this doesn't work, because if any of that stuff in the book worked, I wouldn't have gone bankrupt 3 times. But I know how to sell it, and people are so driven to want to make money, they'll buy it. And because I'm fed up with being broke. I don't care. Okay. And the book has some good information in it, but they're missing key elements that successful people do. I go to a place in Southern California called the Golden Door. There's 35 guys there. It's men's week. It's like a spa, and it's mostly women every week, but 6 weeks a year, it's men only. And these guys are worth, hundreds of millions of dollars. There's billionaires there. I can't mention names because it's kind of a private, men's club. I was at one of the weeks, and we kind of were adding up the net worth of everybody in there. It was almost $1 trillion. One guy was in charge of one of the largest hedge funds in the world. He was the founder, and everybody else put together. And that's a lot of money. And when you ask these guys, what do you do? What did you do when you first started? Did you do what's in this book? Did you do what's in that book? Did you do what's in this book? They laugh at you. They go, no. These guys don't know what they're talking about. They know about success, but they don't know success. This is what we do. And so there are some common denominators that very successful people will do that aren't in any of the books. And that's really what, look, I'm not a motivational speaker. And I had, we'll call it real businesses before I ever thought about writing this book or doing a seminar. That's not my business. My business was real businesses. And only because the people around me started making all this money, over 100 people became multimillionaires in my world. I mean, one guy was a UPS truck driver. Another gal came over from South Africa, and she was a file clerk at minimum wage. She went on to become multimillionaire in real estate. Another guy was flipping pizzas, sleeping on a blow-up mattress in his mother-in-law's house while he was trying to start. And they all became multimillionaires. So people started. Another guy was a travel agent, and he was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with his new wife, not making just barely making ends meet. And then he met me, and I started teaching him what to do. And he went off and started businesses doing hundreds of millions of British pounds a year in England. So people started saying, Kevin, what are you teaching these people? Because clearly it's creating success. Why don't you teach it like to other people? I said, that's not my business. That's not what I do. And it was only after so many years that people were hammering me, please teach it. I said, okay. So about 20 years ago now, I went into the Swiss Alps at one of the chalets. It was a big, huge compound, actually, of one of my brothers in the organization I was a part of called the Brotherhood. And I went there and I said, we're going to teach. We're going to bring 100 people in. We'll charge 50 grand for the weekend. So we'll get people that are serious, they can't be wealthy. They can't be millionaires. They got to be people who want.
How'd they afford 50K?
Well, that was the whole point. They had to figure it out. So we said, we want somebody who's serious. So they can't be a millionaire. They have to come up with the money. It's going to be a big sacrifice because we're going to see, does this actually work? So I brought them in, and to prove that what I was teaching.
By the way, this original Swiss Alps recording is available to you now. I'm not selling you anything. It's completely free. So don't worry. You can check the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And I have shared the link and you can scan the QR code on the screen. People have actually paid $50,000 to attend this seminar and $1,000 for the original CDs and audio program. But it's now available for free. And honestly, I will encourage you to take advantage of it because it's a 2-day audio program. And for me, this was the thing that shifted everything, bro. Like, it's hard to explain it in words. Don't take my word, bro. Don't take my word. Just listen to the first first episode of this. Just go and you will be just blown away, bro. Like, I don't have words for it. And one important thing, that after you enter your details, after you not purchase, because after you take this series, you may be offered additional product or upsell. So you don't have to buy those, cancel those whenever you see it, and just start listening to the original series. I will be encouraging you to do that. So if you are curious, use the link or scan the QR code.
Teaching was legitimate. I had the king of one country was a friend of mine there. I had president of the big organizations, global organizations that were there, very well known, billionaires, royal families, etc. And they basically gave the credibility because, who was I, that this is what we use in the highest levels of wealth in society around the world. And I taught for 2 days an algorithm, effectively, a 40-point algorithm on this is what creates success. There's actually a mathematical formula that I was taught back in my organization called the Brotherhood. And these points, if you do them, you get a score, and this will determine whether you produce what you want. You manifest your dream. Manifest is the big word today. Oh, we're going to manifest your dreams. You create wealth, you make money, you set a goal and achieve it. Those are the words that we used to say. Now it's manifesting. So I taught this for 2 days, and we entitled it Your Wish is Your Command, because your wish really can be your command. I recorded it. And then I went into the studio, and then I put it on CDs. Remember CDs? And we sold the CDs, and we would monitor these folks and said, what were the results? Well, over the next 5 years, the results were just astonishing. Virtually all of those 100 people in that room, all of them, starting from very low, all had a net worth of over $1 million in 5 years. Some of them went on to make tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And remember, these are people that tried everything else before. They went to this guy's seminar and this guy walking on fire and this and that. And it was like, look, nothing seems to be working. And when they went through this, they said, how come nobody else is teaching this or this or this or that? And I go, because they don't know about it. They know about success, but they don't know success. They were really never given the entire puzzle. When you think about, and guys, they're teaching how to make money seminars or how to manifest seminars. And they're always trying to come up with a new idea. I got to come up with something else to sell. I got to come up with a new idea. I just discovered this great thing, everybody. Pay me 10 grand for this. Oh, really? You just discovered it? You didn't know it? I'm not discovering anything, and I didn't make any of this stuff up or create it. I was taught it, and all I'm doing is sharing it. I was given the entire success puzzle, the entire thing. So all I do is now say, look, I have the whole puzzle. I'm not having to figure anything out new. And it's nothing that I'm creating. I'm just sharing with you, this is puzzle piece number one. This is puzzle piece number two. So as people go through the various puzzle pieces, they all connect because it's one puzzle. And I got the whole puzzle. Nobody has the whole puzzle. That whole puzzle is the 40-piece algorithm with everything in it. This is what causes and creates success. You can look at any person on the Forbes 400 list and and lay out this 40-point algorithm and saying, are these guys doing it? And you don't have to know them. You can just read about them and you can ask Chat GPT and they'll say, show me that if this guy is using these things, which is what we did. And they say, yes, here's the evidence that they're following this.
But I want to give them the ability to get rich with what I call manifestation, which a lot of people think is hocus pocus. But in reality, it's not really hocus pocus. It's the words that you're using. It's the beliefs that you have. It's the intentions that you set. It's the small shifts. I mean, your book's talking about it.
Right. It gives us specific things. And we talked about words. Let me give you a couple other points of this algorithm that all wealthy people do. And again, you're going to be shaking your head because you know this better than anybody. I was sitting with a bunch of guys, and I've known some of these guys for 30, 40 years. I mean, we've been friends forever. And I said, look, I used to own several planes years ago. I like private planes because I don't like going through the airports. So it's more like I flew here on a private jet because I like it's much nicer than going through the airports. You save a lot of time. Okay.
And it's just bitching.
It's bitching. But I can get more work done. I'm there with my wife and we're going through, we have our computers, we're having business meetings, we're getting things done. It's a productive 4.5 hours from Chicago on that plane. We have a big plane and it's very productive and we come very refreshed. It's perfect. Okay. So I'm talking to these guys. They're going, listen, we really need to get a plane again. So let's talk about whether we want to challenge a 350, maybe a Falcon 900, maybe a Gulfstream. And one of the guys says, yeah, let's talk about that when we have the money. And I said, stop. And I went crazy. I jumped up and said, stop. No, you don't talk about it when you have the money. You talk about it when you don't have the money. That's how you get the money. It's called dream building. It goes, you've been around this a long time and you're falling back into this loser failure habit where you think, this is how much money I make. And that's all I'm going to talk about of what I can afford right now. No, you have to dream big because that's when the universe will figure out for you, manifest, how to come up with the money. So let's start thinking about it now when we don't have the money. And let's not think about how are we going to come up with the money. We just have to figure out what we want in the universe. That's their job. They're going to figure out how. I was putting up a satellite over in Europe because I had 3 TV networks there. So we were on Sky Digital. And we had to go to Belgium. They had these rockets going up and I had to buy this satellite. It was like $4 million. So I'm with the guy who's brand new. He used to work in the travel business and he's learning. So I said, yeah, let's go down. And he thinks that I'm going to write a check for $4 million or something. So we go and we meet these guys for a nice lunch and they're wining and dining us. And he says, it's $4 million. And I said, well, that sounds reasonable. I said, but I think we can do better than that. Okay. So we negotiate down to 3.2 million. I says, that's terrific. I says, but we don't have any money. This is a brand new business. We're not going to pay for that. I said, so why don't you put it up? And then I think a year from now, we can start making payments on it. Well, the guy over here who's with me is almost falling off the floor. He thinks like, how can you do this? And the guy's going, well, we usually don't do that. I go, I know, but the rocket's going up next week anyway. So just do it because it's not costing you anything. So I negotiate the deal.
Closed him.
You're damn right. I wasn't going to put up that money because the company didn't have it. And I said, we're going to build TV networks. And I didn't ask how we're going to come up with the money. I said, no, let's just figure out how much it costs. The universe will figure that out. And I didn't care. I also had done another step in the equation, the algorithm, which is release attachment to the outcome. I don't care if they say yes or no. I could care less. It doesn't matter. So I had no fear of them saying no because it didn't bother me one way or the other. I had released attachment to a particular outcome and they took the deal. And this guy couldn't believe it. And I said, see?
Yeah.
Because he kept on saying, how are we going to come up with the money? This is a brand new company. We don't have that money. How are we going to, are you going to invest the money? How are we going to? I said, stop asking how. I never want to hear that out of your mouth ever again. Stop asking how.
See, that's crazy because like I always tell people to ask how, but the only reason is because I get the people that always say if, and it's like, it's not if, dude. It's not if, it's how. Like the question is how. Like it's not if you can become a multimillionaire. The question is how. So I'm saying say how, you say don't say how.
Well, don't say how at the beginning. That's the key element there. You can't be focused on the how in the beginning. You have to know exactly what you want, dream big. You have to feel now as if you would feel if it was true. And then you have to release attachment to the outcome and say, if it never happens, it's perfectly okay. And then you can say, now, how am I going to actually do this? Because you're coming from a place where there's no fear of it not happening because you just released attachment to the outcome. And you can say, well, I don't know how. Universe, you figure it out for me.
Yeah.
And then the how will present itself.
It does.
It will present itself when you have released a fear that it won't, or a need that you have to know how before you start dreaming about what you want.
Yeah.
The dream has to come first. Walt Disney he was flat broke. They had stolen his cartoon character, the New York guys. They had stolen the cartoon character that was going to make him wealthy. A lot of people don't know what that cartoon character was. Oswald the Rabbit. Very good. Oswald the Rabbit they stole. And he said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he was actually building his plans for Disneyland when he had nothing. And he didn't even have Mickey Mouse. But he was thinking about his dream. And as he was dreaming about building Disneyland, that is when the universe said, let me show you how you're going to do it. And that's when he woke up in the middle of the night and said, wait a minute. Oswald the Rabbit didn't make Walt Disney. Walt Disney made Oswald the Rabbit. And if Walt Disney created Oswald the Rabbit, Walt Disney could come up with another character. And in the middle of the night, he scribbled out Mickey Mouse, which gave him the money to build Disneyland. But you see how it went in steps?
Yeah.
He dreamed first, and then the universe gave him the how, and it presented it to him, and he took advantage of it. A lot of people are asking how, and then they get opportunities all the time, and they foo-foo it. And they go, oh, that won't work, or that they're skeptical. And you keep asking. Your wish has been granted. The universe keeps sending you a boat and a helicopter to save you, and you keep saying, no, I'm waiting for God to save me. It's right there in front of you. So you have to see and be aware and be conscious of what actually is being presented to you as well.
What do you say to people that say, oh, bullshit, Kevin? That's bullshit.
I say, stay broke. I'm not here to look. Guy told me a long time ago, Kevin, don't try to make a pig sing. You waste your time and annoy the pig. So if somebody says, oh, that's all bullshit, that's blah, 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 blah. You know what I say? I go, nothing. I say nothing. I'm not here to convince anybody.
Yeah.
I live a great life. Whether a person gets this book or takes advantage of a real estate opportunity that's being presented to them, or whether another person becomes a multimillionaire, it's not going to affect my lifestyle. Not going to affect my life at all.
How is your lifestyle now?
My lifestyle is awesome. Just imagine being able to live your day exactly the way you want, regardless of any outside circumstances. When you wake up in the morning, do you say, I love my life and I love being me?
Me, yes.
Yes. And when you go to sleep, the average person out there listening, do you say, oh, wow, I love my life and I love being me?
Actually, that's very important, feeling fulfilled within. And before we end, I want to say you something very important. For a long time, I was constantly thinking, I want this, I desire this, I need to manifest this, that. And underneath all of that, I realized I wasn't truly fulfilled within myself. Then I listened to this series, Free Your Wishes, Your Command. It's free now. Back then it was paid. Something shifted in me. The way audio is structured, the language, the repetition, it has something called embedded commands, which just go straight into your subconscious mind and program you to remove your limiting blocks. There are so many counter intentions we carry that we don't even realize. I wasn't even aware of my counter intentions. So after listening to this, I genuinely felt like different. Like I cannot express this in words, bro. Like I swear to the God, I want to give you this feeling. So I personally found it deeply impactful, and I want more people to discover it because I know what's it's like to spend years consuming thousands of law of attraction videos, podcasts, books, manifestation, self-help videos, but nothing changes by them. Like I have tried them all, and I have seen people trying them all, always searching for the next technique, always looking for that missing piece. And this is that last missing piece. I swear you, bro. Like, just go through it. Don't take my word. Just don't take my word. It's free. Listen to the first lesson, and you will just know. You have to. Okay, for YouTube, you have to come back. Okay, you have to come back to the comment section after you listen to this video. Please make a promise. I am giving you this for free. I'm giving you this energy, this life-changing opportunity for free. You have to promise me you will come back and comment what changed in your life after going through. So you are, by this method you are giving to the world, people will read your comment and they will also get motivated to listen to this series and change their life, because this is the last piece, last missing piece. See you guys. I love you all.